Hi, good evening, guys. My name is Dustin, and I will be representing the group. Team Ferns is going to convince everybody why ferns are number one, the coolest plants out there, and some other fun facts about them. So, without further ado, let's get started. Ferns are in the Pteridophyta phylum. This name was coined by Ernest Haeckel, and it means feather-like appearance. Ferns are one of the first seedless vascular plants. Some distinguishable characteristics include that they are non-flowering, they have true roots, stems, and complex leaves. Next, we'll go over some characteristics of ferns. The fern's body structure is essentially split into three main parts: a rhizome on the underground stem, often growing horizontally, fronds, the visibly leafy part of the fern, and sporangia, the reproductive structures located on the underside of the fronds. Moving on to reproduction, as we go into the next slides, we will talk about the roles that sperms, gametophytes, fertilization, and sporophytes play in reproduction. Ferns are ancient plants that reproduce through spores rather than seeds, which sets them apart from most modern plants. The typical fern you see is a sporophyte, which produces tiny and lightweight spores on the underside of its leaves. These spores are dispersed by wind, allowing ferns to colonize new areas, preferably in moist and shady environments. Once a spore lands in the right area with sustainable conditions, it grows into a small, heart-shaped gametophyte, which releases both sperm and eggs. Fertilization requires water because sperm must swim to reach the eggs. Unlike seeded plants that use seeds to protect and nourish their offspring, ferns rely on moisture and timing for successful reproduction. Despite their reliance on unique conditions, ferns have thrived for millions of years, showing their great adaptability in certain environments. One cool characteristic about ferns is their ability to unfurl their fronds in a unique way called circinate vernation. When a fern frond first comes out, they are tightly coiled into spiraling shapes, often called fiddleheads. As the frond grows, it gradually uncoils, straightening itself out in a cool way. This not only protects the delicate growing tip as it pushes through the soil, but it also makes the unfurling process fun to watch. We're going to continue right on into this presentation with even more fun facts. All right, fun facts 1 and 2. Firstly, ferns are flowerless plants, as we've discovered. They reproduce via spores on the underside of their leaves, and ferns are also edible. When cooked properly, certain fern plants can be eaten, but be careful of which fern you are eating because some can be toxic. Ferns are considered to be part of an ancient group of plants that have been around for over 300 million years. Ferns can get quite large as well, with the largest being around 65 feet. Ferns are considered living fossils since they have not changed much since the prehistoric eras. Some ferns can withstand extreme drought and come back to life when water becomes available again. Ferns are used for medicinal purposes such as digestive issues, skin conditions, and fevers. Moving on, we'll give you some examples of ferns and their subgroups and the variations of ferns. Leading with the lady fern, that is a perennial fern that stands upright and is native to the continental United States and Alaska. It typically grows between 2 to 5 feet tall. Its bright green leaves have a fine, lacy texture with fronds that can reach up to 1 foot wide and 3 feet long. The frond stalks range in color from green to shades of purple or red. The staghorn fern can reach up to 3 feet in width. It grows from short rhizomes that produce two distinct types of fronds. The sterile or non-reproductive basal fronds are rounded to heart-shaped, overlapping structures at the base, often referred to as backplates. These shield-like fronds start out as dull green and succulent, but gradually turn papery, taking on a tan to cinnamon brown color as they age. The asparagus fern is a flattened, feathery-like array of green stems, small white summer flowers, and deep purple flowers that can grow 10 to 20 feet long. It is considered invasive in most of the world, with the most common complaint is the noxious odor that it emits. The most surprising thing about the asparagus fern is that it is in fact not a fern, but it is a bushy evergreen. And to look at the works that we cited, please see the final slides. Thank you for watching this presentation, and hopefully everyone has realized how cool ferns are. And if you haven't by now, just start it all over and watch it one more time. And I can't promise that you won't get it the second time. Thank you, everybody.